Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It is exactly 13 after 9 o'clock South African time. We now cross over to Abuja in Nigeria. And we are going to be talking with Dr. Abdul Rahman Abu Hamisu, lecturer with the Department of Political Science and International Relations at the University of Abuja in Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum to you, Dr. Abdul Rahman. Welcome to Salam Media.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me.
Lovely to have you here. We're going to be talking about the Abuja proclamation, a very important piece of information, proclamation, declaration, call it what you will. The one I'm referring to is the proclamation of 1993. Let's understand, why is it important? What is this proclamation all about? And why is it important in this day and age for this to be obviously communicated the world over, very especially to the Western nations, and for them to understand that they need to abide by this proclamation, because hopefully it will then enhance, by way of reparation, the lives of African people throughout the African continent. Over to you, Dr. Dr. Abdul Rahman.
Thank you so very much for your elaborate opening and question. The proclamation or declaration, as you said, whatever one wants to call it, is coming on the heel of the right that has been given to man by God in the famed by United Nations, the right of self-determination. For more than a century, the Western world conspired among themselves to enslave other peoples of the world. And the most enslaved people of the world are the Africans, who were transported across oceans, abused, dehumanized, killed, maimed, and then they are transported out of against their will across many miles away from their homes to be used as the beast of burden for the production of the wealth and the luxury that the West relishes themselves in. These are sweats of the people of the world that has been enslaved, that have been killed, that have been named in the name of either slave trade or colonialism. And today,
Mm.
within the framework of the United Nations, that ask for people to assert themselves in a way that is dignifying of their person, which is the attribute that Allah has given to mankind, that has been abused by the same West that is preaching human rights all over the world. The abused people of the world, the most abused people of the world, the Black Africans, are saying that you abuse our great grandfathers, you abuse our fathers, and that we are asking for reparation. We are asking for restitution. Yeah, the damage has been done. The impact is overwhelming. Up to this generation, we're grappling with the consequences of slave trade and colonialism. We cannot undo the past, but we can redress whatever atrocities that have been committed. And that's
So,
what led to
Dr.
the.
Rahman, Dr. Abdul Rahman, let me put this question to you then. What about the response from the Western world? Um, for example, they might argue, as we hear from time to time here in South Africa, we hear third and fourth generation white South Africans saying, don't hold me responsible for what my grandparents did or my ancestors have done. I wasn't even born at that time. So they could argue that the damage sustained by the African people is a thing of the past, but we know that it is painfully manifest in the damaged lives of contemporary Africans. And it's also about the whole issue around intergenerational healing, and to come to terms of with all of that trauma, because if that doesn't happen, we are going to be a wounded nation for generations and generations to come. Dr.
Yeah,
Abdul
let me
Rahman?
ask you what you just said before I answer your question. The position the black are taking. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Hello?
I can hear you now.
All right. Now, let me add to that. Okay, let me add to that quickly. The position the black man has attained all over the world, the position of servitude, the position of underclass, is as a result of all of those historical injustices. And the wealth that their great grandfather has amassed is what they are enjoying up to today. So if
Mm,
they said we shouldn't hold them responsible, they should relinquish the dirty wealth that came from that very particular inhuman treatment. Because
mm,
the black man is a fifth class citizen in the world. Wherever you go to, the black man is at the bottom of the ladder. Why? It was because of the position of servitude that has been reserved for them. And the structure has not even allowed the black man to move. Whether you are educated or not, you tend to be looked down upon because they see you as a descendant of the slaves. And the first class position, majority of them are enjoying from the wealth that has been bequeathed to them. Some of them has been given as endowment funds by these inhuman people that came to Africa to rape Africa, to kill, to enslave us. So if they are claiming is that it was their great grandfathers that did it, we should not hold them responsible, then they should relinquish the wealth, the privilege, the honor that has come with such wealth that they are enjoying, so that we know that our wealth has been returned to us and we can turn this wealth into endowment funds to alleviate poverty across Africa in third world countries where they did all that they did. So they cannot be enjoying the wealth that was the sweat of enslaved people, and they will ask us not to hold them accountable. We are holding them accountable because they are the keepers of the loot, the enslavement, the abuse, the raping of Africa. And that is why we are asking for restitution, because it is within our right to ask for a fair share of the wealth that we've produced. This is the position.
Okay, so Dr. Abdul Rahman, obviously, I think it is very evident that the Western world has two standards. They have dual standards. They have dual sets of rules, one for white people and one for black people. And I say this because historically, we know regarding reparations uh, from Germany, for example, payment of restitution to the Jewish people for the enormous tragedy of the Nazi Holocaust. Also to the question of compensating Japanese Americans for the injustices on them. Also, when we look at the Roosevelt administration in the United States during World War II, and that Western list goes on, and they very conveniently forget the Black African story and reparation and restitution. Dr. Abdul Rahman,
Yes. And I
can
want to hold Africans responsible for the state of affairs regarding. Uh, yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now? I do apologize. There seems to be a
Can you hear
delay
me?
on this line. I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
No, no, no problem. No problem. Yeah, as you said, there is a double standard. But again, I want to blame Africans for what has happened between the time the declaration was made and now, because of so many factors. Most of African leaders pay homage and allegiance to the leaders in the West so that they are not removed from office. Power is crucial in Africa, and we fight over power. And that is why most of us are not assertive enough. I bet you they can't do the same thing to China. They can't do the same thing to Russians. They can't do the same thing to Singaporeans because their leaders are disciplined leaders. They are.
Okay, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave that interview. Hopefully, Inayat Wadi can pick up on this interview tomorrow, or perhaps we can pick it up next week, inshallah, because it is a very important discussion to be had. My apologies to you, Dr. Abdul Rahman Abu Hamisu, lecturer with the Department of Political Science and International Relations, University of Abuja, Nigeria. Like I said, We were discussing the Abuja proclamation. We will have to revisit this this matter sometime in the near future. 9:23 exactly, news and views right here on Salam Media. Standing by to talk with us is a project manager of Journalism Bootcamp for Muslims. And that, of course, is Rashid Chopdat. A very, very interesting initiative. Let's hear more about it.